Well, when Good Morning Las Vegas returns, coping with addiction, the resources available to help break the cycle. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Well, Valentine's Day is coming up next month, and it can also be really a tough time for people struggling with addiction. Of course, that's always a big issue any time of year. It's certainly a big issue in the community. And our next guests have some advice. Joining me is we have Dr. Renee Solomon with Forward Recovery, and we have Joe Engel as well. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
So first of all, I mean, this is such a huge issue, so important. I mean, especially around this time of year. Kind of, what are some of the things that you see?
It's a difficult time for people because they use it as a measurement of their lives, where they're at in their relationships. So people often use more drugs and alcohol during this time to not deal with their feelings and to push it aside. So people in recovery, though, also don't have the option of using their original coping mechanisms of drugs and alcohol, so that's difficult too. And I think for people, they should be thinking about their lives throughout the year and not use Valentine's Day or New Year's as a way to evaluate it.
And Joe, I mean, this hits close home to you, right?
It does.
Tell me a little about that.
I lost my oldest son. He was 19 years old to a heroin overdose back in 2011.
Yeah, and we hear so much about that in the news, and especially with the opioid crisis going on. I mean,
Sure.
What advice do you have for people?
To pay attention, as a parent, pay attention to what your kid's doing. Pay attention to who your kids are hanging around. Pay attention to the school grades. Everything that happens in a substance user's life, all of the signs are there. They start getting new friends. The grades start failing. Their faces flush often. So look for the usual suspects, the usual signs.
Yeah, because a lot of times people say, like, I never saw this coming until something
Not my
happens,
kid. Not my kid. Right? That's what they say. They can't believe it's their kid.
Absolutely. And as you were saying with Valentine's Day coming up, a lot of times people turn back to old habits and things like that. So what are some tips people can do kind of right now to kind of, if they're making progress, kind of stay there and get back on track?
I think it's continuing to stay on track. If you have an issue with drugs and alcohol, getting help. If you know people that are having issues, as Joe said, with your children, you can sometimes see the signs, or just checking in and increasing education. You need to do a lot more with that.
Mm-hmm.
And Joe, you also have an event coming up, right? You have Black Monday. Tell me a little bit about that.
I do. It's the 6th annual event. It's we build a carnation wall. It's part memorial, part celebration of life, part fundraiser for my nonprofit. There is no hero in heroin. We have different color carnations to signify different stages of addiction. Red for those who have lost someone to a substance use passing, white for someone who's overcome their addiction, and black for somebody who's still in the throes of addiction.
All right, well, certainly a big issue, and I know we could talk more, but we got to wrap things up. We thank you guys for both being here, and of course we'll post some links online to some resources, because that's the one thing, there is always help available, and we want people to know that. Thank you guys both so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
We'll see you guys after the break. Stay with us.
Thank you.